Thank you for coming, Thor. I'll cut the point. I am worried about FRIEZA invading Earth. FRIEZA's power is too great for a direct fight, so my plan focuses on a three-phase containment system starting with a fake nebula of metallic dust. This dust will act as a blanket to dampen his energy senses, making him blind to our location while we move into position. If he cannot sense where the life forces are on Earth, he will have to slow down to find us.
You assume a king like FRIEZA cares about finding us slowly, but he is more likely to burn the dust away with a single breath. If you try to hide the world, he will simply strike at the center of the cloud until he hits something solid. I think we should add my lightning to that dust to create a shell of static that will shock him every time he tries to power up.
That is a smart adjustment. The static pulse will help stabilize the second phase, which involves a series of gravity anchors hidden in the nearby moons. These anchors will create a heavy drag on his body, forcing him to use more energy just to stay standing. By the time he reaches the inner orbit, he should be physically drained from fighting the weight of the air itself.
Gravity is a heavy burden, but FRIEZA has lived in high-weight worlds before and his muscles are stronger than any metal you have here. He might actually enjoy the challenge of the weight, using it to harden his skin even further before the real battle starts. Why not use the moons to bounce his own energy beams back at him while he is struggling to move?
Let's get Robin's input.
FRIEZA hates being looked down upon by anyone he thinks is beneath him. We should set up a broadcast on every frequency that shows his past defeats on a loop, making it look like the whole galaxy is laughing at him. If he stays in the gravity field to destroy the satellites out of rage, he will stay in the trap long enough for the anchors to reach full power.
The boy understands that a wounded ego is often more dangerous than a wounded body, and FRIEZA's ego is his greatest weakness. While he is distracted by the screens, I will move the stars, or at least the rocks, to block his path of retreat. We must make sure he has nowhere to go but forward into the final part of your cage.
Phase 3 is the core of the plan, a localized vacuum seal that will strip the heat and air from his immediate surroundings. I have built a chamber that uses absolute zero tech to freeze his cells the moment his energy drops below a certain level. Once he is frozen in that block, his power will be locked inside his own body, and he will be unable to transform.
You speak of cold as if it is a final wall, but I have seen this creature survive the vacuum of space without a suit or a ship. If the ice cracks even a little bit, his heat will return and he will blow your chamber into a million tiny pieces. I must stand at the door of the cage and use my hammer to keep the pressure high so the ice never has a chance to melt.
If you provide the external pressure, I can focus on the internal dampening, using a modified phantom zone projector to thin out the space inside the ice. This will create a loop where any energy he tries to release just travels back into his own chest. It turns his own strength into a lock that keeps him from ever moving a finger again.
That sounds like a prison worthy of a god, but how do we get a man that fast to walk into a box in the first place? He will see your chamber from a mile away and likely just throw a rock at it from the safety of space. We need a bait that he cannot resist, something that looks more important than the world he came to kill.
The bait is a fake power source I've placed in the center of the chamber that mimics the energy of a Dragon Ball. He has spent his whole life hunting for that kind of power to grant him eternal life and more strength. He will not be able to help himself. He will walk right into the center of the trap to claim his prize.
He is a greedy lizard, that much is true, but he is also very suspicious of gifts that come too easily. I will pretend to be guarding the prize with my life, making it look like a desperate last stand by the gods of this world. When he beats me back, or thinks he has, he will feel safe enough to step into the dark.
Once he is inside and the door is locked, we will use the combined power of your hammer and my satellites to launch the entire chamber into the sun. The gravity and the heat will act as a secondary guard, keeping the ice stable and the prisoner contained for 1,000 years. But I worry about the radiation leaks affecting our own communications during the launch. Alfred, what is your opinion on this?
If I may, Master Bruce, you are worrying about the radio while a monster is at the door. You should focus on the timing of the launch. Use the ship's autopilot to send him away the second the door clicks shut. Do not wait for a signal or a final word, for a villain like FRIEZA only needs a second of hesitation to find a way to escape his fate.
Your servant has the right idea about speed. We must act like the lightning itself, fast and without any doubt. I will provide the spark for the engines to make sure the ship reaches the sun before FRIEZA can even realize he is in a cage. It is a long trip, but it is the only place hot enough to keep his spirit from rising again.
I will set the autopilot to a dead man switch so that even if I am hurt, the ship will still complete its journey. We will have the metallic dust, the gravity anchors, and the fake prize all working together to lead him to that one point. This is not a fight we can win with fists, so we have to win with the environment.
I am glad we have found a way to use his own greed and his own power to build his tomb. I have fought many kings, but few are as slimy as this one, and I will be happy to see him go into the fire. Are the anchors ready to be moved into the moons, or do you need more time for the math?
The math is done and the machines are loaded onto the transport ship as we speak. We will head out to the watchtower tonight to begin the setup, before his scouts can find our trail. Let's make sure this king finds nothing but a cold cage and a hot sun when he reaches our home.